What's up, everybody? It's Narcolepsy Boy 94, aka Malik from TikTok, here doing the 3 Count podcast with my guy Red Dog. Hopefully, you guys listen and give it a chance. And I'll be sharing the link for you guys to listen on my channel as well. So, should be fun.
Welcome, everybody, to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. That's right, and by now, most of y'all, all of y'all, should be saying this with me right now. I am your Sherpa. Actually, y'all should just be saying it. You are my Sherpa. Because, let's be real, every good Sherpa has got to be out there. And like every good Sherpa, you got to have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. That's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And who's entering the ring today? You can find this man on TikTok as he is a massive influencer. He is also found on RWP Podcast as well as his own YouTube channel. He is Narcolepsy Boy 94, Malik Kelly.
That's a hell of an intro, man. A lot better than I do on my channel. Pretty good intro. You should get paid for those. You should get paid for doing intros. Somebody should pay you for that.
It's weird, man. It's almost like I feel like that's going to be my calling in life, man, is that like I'm just going to be out here fired up and getting the crowd fired up for like their future wrestler coming into the sport.
Yeah, definitely. Man. Definitely, you got to get some money off that one.
Bro, so one, thank you for coming on the show, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, no problem. No problem for sure.
So let's get into it, man. First thing first, man. I have seen you all over TikTok. I have seen you all over Instagram. I have seen you up and down, going from YouTube to Facebook, everywhere, right?
Right.
Who is Malik Kelly?
Just an average dude who likes wrestling, just like majority of wrestling fans. Just an average guy, man. Pretty much sums it up. Man, I just enjoy wrestling, just like everybody else does. I've been watching since I was a kid, like most people too. Fell into it when you're a kid, and just never fell out of it. I don't know. So most people who watched it when I was growing up, they all fell out of it and stuff. Don't watch it anymore. But I was one of those people who just stuck with it.
So that's awesome, though, and that's kind of cool that you got, you found your way of like falling in love with it and just kind of doing your thing, and like, I feel like when it comes to someone like you kind of like help set the tone of like what should be found on Wrestle Talk, right? So on Wrestling TikTok itself, because I feel like, let's be real, man, and I kind of brought this up in a video myself. Wrestling anything, whether it was like Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, it just gets toxic and just turns really toxic. So I feel like you and there's other people too that we'll throw out there too. Like Panda is like another one where you guys are just kind of like this beaming light of like positivity in such a negative space that like people have to acknowledge you and just enjoy like what you're bringing to the space.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of negative vibes, not even just wrestling, but just on social media in general. Social media is a positive and negative thing. You just got to learn how to handle the negativity. Not everybody is able to handle it. Some people can mentally be abused by that. Like the online abusing and stuff's real. Some people can take that to heart. Words can be very strong. Sometimes words can mean more than actions for some people. So for me, I've been one of those people. I just never really cared. People said or thought about me. It just doesn't bother me. But not everybody thinks like me. Not everybody is that person. So I always just, if you notice no negativity on my page, I don't ever respond to negative comments or stuff like that because it's just a waste of time. You're just feeding into the energy that those people want. So I just do what I do. I post my content. Hope people enjoy it. And people ask me for advice all the time, and one of the main things I always tell people is that you have to have some pretty thick skin, man. Like you have to know how to take some backlash sometimes when it comes to social media, especially the more you grow, the bigger you get, the more haters and backlash you're gonna receive. So if you feel like that would really bother you, then I wouldn't recommend you start social media content really, because it can really get to your head. It really could mess with you. I mean, you look at people like Justin Bieber or Will Smith or Ariana Grande, Jennifer Aniston, those are like major celebrities in the world that everybody pretty much knows worldwide. They pretty much can't go anywhere without people coming up to them, pictures or autographs and stuff like that. But I mean, just imagine the stuff that they get all the time on social media, whether it be tweets of like anything, like the stuff that they probably hear or have heard throughout their life is some of the stuff is probably insane. Some people can be very cruel and ruthless, man. Behind the keyboard, people like to act tough, so some people can say some very hurtful things, man. Like I've seen people talk about people's like dead relatives and wishing people death threats. It's wild, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy though. It's like, that's why you always want to look at those few people who are out there just like trying to spread positivity or just even try to spread anything, just like in a positive manner, I should say, not really just spread anything. It's one of those things where I watch and I know which content followers I want to check out, right? And just like and to vibe with, because I'm like, all right, that looks like a person I can kick with. That looks like a person I can kick with. And then coming from the wrestling side as well as coming from like a content creator side, it's it's a walking a fine line for myself, because it's like, oh my god, if I say this or I say that, like people are gonna turn, and it's one of those things where it's like, yo, I gotta mind my p's and q's and keep it running. Know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be like that, man. It's coming with content is also like a full time job. You know what I mean? Like you can put a lot of effort into your content. So some people work the regular 9 to 5. The 5 days a week. Like myself, I work 5 days a week still. So it's a grind, man. That's definitely a grind. But anybody out there listens. If you want to start Russell Talk or just any content in general, always go for it. But you always have to know that when you start it, you got to be ready for backlash, man. It's gonna come with it. It's unfortunate and it sucks because it shouldn't be that way. It doesn't take a lot for people to be kind to each other. Like it's the easiest thing in the world for people to be nice and to be kind. But some people just like to poke the bear, man, and like to get reactions out of you.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I know. It's funny for like here on the 3 count, like Chaz and I, we kind of live for those moments, right? And Chaz more so than I do. Chaz is like, I'm all about like, I'll take the heat and just keep throwing more heat out, and I'm just like, go ahead, do your thing, man. I really just stopped reading the comments, like even positive or negative. Sometimes I'll respond to positive comments, but even the negative comments, I just don't respond. I remember one time I saw someone comment something on my on the 3 count side, and they were like, they just kept trying to egg me on, and Chaz was getting in the middle of it. I was like, just stop talking to him, man. And then at one point, I think Chaz even wrote in there, you notice how the 3 count podcast does not acknowledge anything you're saying. And I was like, so why are you? Like, you're the other part of this podcast. And on your own personal IG page, you're getting all fussed up. I was like, just chill, man. Don't even worry about that. But
Yeah, it's not worth feeding into that stuff, man. It's really
yeah.
not.
But what made you want to create content based in like the wrestling world?
Just kind of happened, really. It wasn't really my intentions. Pandemic happened, got laid off work, was at home, had a lot of free time on my hands, and just started kind of posting on TikTok randomly. And then the first major video that blew up was a wrestling video, and then I just kept posting wrestling content, and it just kept going viral and getting bigger, and I started getting a massive amount of followers. So I just kind of stuck with it. I was like, all right, I just stick with it. It's kind of really how it all came about. It was kind of like catching lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I know it's funny thing, man, is I love your videos that you do when you're talking about like your favorite wrestling songs, and then just like reacting to those songs and doing your top tens. I think those are fun because you can actually see like the kid side of things like kind of come out, and you just like explode like on the scene. So I definitely
Yeah,
vibe with those, man, a lot.
yeah, those are cool, because there's a lot of good wrestling themes out there too. What always gets me is that like sometimes I'll put a thing up and it won't even be my sound. So people will be like, "Where's this sound at?" Or like, "Where's the song?" Like I didn't create the sound. You know what I mean, like I didn't. I'm just using somebody else's sound. Or even if I put in captions like this list is in no order, people will still be like, "Oh, that's too low. Why is that person above that one?" I'm like, "Bro, do you not see the top? Like, look at it's literally above my head. Like I don't see how I missed that." But I always enjoy ranking the themes. Theme songs. I think in wrestling, I think especially when you're a deep wrestling fan, I think a lot of people connect with a lot of theme songs.
Yeah, I feel like that's also like a very important thing. Like when it comes to, like, it's one of those things. Like even on the indie scene, like you're trying to create like your character, right? And when you're creating your character, you're also thinking about like the type of music that you want to use to like get the crowd
Yeah,
hype.
music's a big
One
thing, man. Music's a big thing.
Yeah, so like for me, I use a version of Danger Zone by a band that's no longer together. They're called Hollow Drive,
Mm.
and it's just a different feel to it, and like a harder bass line with like a harder, like a more punch for guitar. And when I hear the opening part, the doo doo doom doom, I can hear like the crowd just pop, and then like I come blazing through, and then it gets to another level. And I
Right.
think every time, man, I come flying out and I hear that song, I'm just like, yeah. But it brings to like the idea that a song can either set the mood, or it can get like people set the mood to like cheer you, or set the mood to like just 100% boo you. Because like on the other side, I have a buddy named Vam who he's just a heat magnet. He just and you hear the opening theme song from the Fugees, just hey, he just like sets the world on fire, just
Give me
booing the
your
shit out of him.
give me your what's your top 5 favorite WWE themes all time? No
Oh
order.
Jesus.
Doesn't have to be in order.
No, because then the rest of YouTube and TikTok are just gonna light me up for it.
Right.
You know what? I think if I was to say with anything, Sasha Banks. I
The
see.
newer version or the older version?
You know what? Both versions to me are fly. Like I love Snoop Dogg's version, but that original version just slayed it too when she used to come out.
Yeah, the original one was really good. So
Yeah.
Sasha's in. Okay, so you said Sasha Banks.
Yep. We'll throw an old one out there. Let me get LOD because I love the Legion of Doom. That's my favorite tag team.
Legion of Doom.
We'll go Rey Mysterio. We'll go Rey Mysterio, 1997 Halloween Havoc because one, that's my favorite match. Two, I just love that whole theme where it's like dum dum dum.
Oh, so the WCW theme. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We grab that one. Let me grab NWO Wolfpack.
Wolfpack Valid.
Yep. And then actually, a lot of people are gonna call me a simp for this one. I don't really care. Let me get AJ Styles, WWE.
Oh, okay, valid.
Yeah.
My list is a little bit different. So when I usually do my rankings, I like themes more that have lyrics than instrumentals. The instrumental themes can be good, but most of my favorite themes are lyric themes. So my number one favorite theme of all time is Voices. Voices is my number one. Triple H, The Game. A lot of people. I think a lot of people kind of really don't like that one as much as I thought they did, but that's top 3 for me all time. Like that theme song is absolutely incredible. I know some people favor it towards My Time now, but I always thought My Time was kind of overhyped a little bit. It's not a bad song, but I never felt like that was Triple H's like top 3 best songs. Like I think the Game's theme song is better, Evolution's theme song is better, and I think DX's theme is better as well. So like that would be like his number 4 best theme for me. I wouldn't put that above DX, Evolution, or the Game's theme. Metalingus, Edge's theme. I was very upset when he changed it, but I do like his new theme though. The other side, it fits for his new character. Batista's theme, Walk Alone, definitely would be in my top 5 favorites. Like you said, man, that was one of the entrance themes that when it hits, like every time it just goes up to another level, especially with that pyro and everything, man. Like, man, his entrance was so amazing. And I would say another one of my top 5 would be Cult of Personality. That is that's up there for me. Another theme I was really upset because I really loved Fire Burns, the original CM Punk theme, and then he changed it. And I was like, oh man, like really liked Fire Burns, but then like you catch on to it, I'm like, man, this is actually like really it's better actually. Like it's eclipses Fire Burns for me. So I would say that'd be my 5.
It's funny for me because like when I'm in the gym, Brock Lesnar's theme song is on my hit list.
This theme's yeah. Brock Lesnar's theme is one of those themes too. When that as soon as the first part of it drops, you hear that guitar. It's like, oh shit, here comes Brock.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it takes it to a new level, man. I do like Brock's theme a lot.
Yeah, that one, Batista and then Cult of Personality are definitely like in my top 3. Like I have to hear those songs, and then after that, I just added "Here Comes the Boom" with Adam Cole from AEW.
I'm not a big fan of that theme, man. I don't know why.
I don't know, man. I get hyped. Like I'll be at the end of my workout, I'll be dead tired. I'm be like, you know what? Like I've hit everything I need to hit in my workout. Let me just tune it in for a day. And then like I'll put that one song on, and I'm like, I gotta go.
I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of the Adam Cole AEW theme. I don't know why. The Undisputed Era theme is incredible though. That's probably one of the top 10 favorite themes ever. But I don't know, the AEW Adam Cole theme. I don't know, man. It's not something that I play or would probably play when it comes to AEW themes. I like a lot of different themes.
I like Lucha Bros. That's another one I really enjoy.
Lucha Bros theme is good. I like John Moxley's theme a lot. Obviously Jericho's theme.
Right.
I do like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus theme. I do like that one a lot. Eddie Kingston's theme is pretty good. I do like that one too.
Eddie Kingston's theme song I think is very underrated. Very underrated. I think a lot of people sleep on that one. And I'll be honest, man, Jade Cargill's theme is like growing on me a lot. Like those two are so good. And I think a lot of people are like, yeah, we like Jade. But I'm like, no. Like her theme song, like live hits so heavy. And I'm just like, you guys got to get into it more because like that's one that just people just don't really pay attention to very well.
What about a theme song that you never liked? Maybe a theme song that's very popular that a lot of people like that you just never really cared for.
Geez, man, that's actually a good question too. Since we're trading here, I think for me, a theme song that I really didn't care about. I didn't. Okay, so let me caveat this. I didn't care about the Patriots theme song, right? Back from like 97, right? 95, 96. And I think it was just because it was on the wrong character. Because when Kurt Angle started coming out to it, it was a whole different game. And I was like, I definitely could get behind this one. But I think when it first initiated, I just didn't care about it. And people were like, but it's America. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna cheer for Brett right now because like
Yeah.
his theme song is cooler. But if I was like really picking one that I really just couldn't get into, Billy Kidman back in WCW, I just couldn't stand. Like it just wasn't my thing.
Oh, you talking about the rap one? The
Yeah,
oh, that one was hard, man. That one was hard. I think he brought it over to WWE too, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
I would probably say for mine, I don't know, I never liked Dusty Rhodes theme song, man. I don't know why, but never was a big fan of Dusty Rhodes theme. The Great Khali's theme too. Never,
Oh yeah, that's another one that's really bad.
I never liked that one either. But I would say if I had to pick a big one, I'd probably say Dusty Rhodes theme song. I don't know, I just never vibe to it. I guess I don't know, something about it just didn't catch on for me personally.
Hard working man.
It's a legendary theme, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, it's never, I don't know, never was like a huge obsessive fan about it.
I think another one too, if I was thinking about it, like, and I had to go really like old school type. I don't know, man. Like, I get the hype that people love Ultimate Warrior back in the day, but that theme song, like, it's like 4 chords and like that's it. And I'm like, I'm cool with that, but I can't get into it, really.
Yeah, I like Ultimate Warrior's team. Ultimate Warrior is probably my favorite wrestler from the Golden Age era. He's my favorite from that time frame.
Well, he gave you like everything you wanted. Like he was like hyped. He had the face paint. Yeah, and I know he got the cool like theme song. I just think to me, like when it came to Ultimate Warrior, like everything else about Ultimate Warrior was cool. I just really couldn't really get behind his theme song because I was just like. But then again, like when I look back at like Golden Era's music versus like the new era plus the Attitude Era, like all those theme songs were all hitting at a different level. So when you go back and listen to some of these old school songs, there's really only one to me that I really could fuck with outside of that generation, and I do, and that would be like the Four Horsemen theme song because I feel like that theme song like went on another level.
Four Horsemen's theme was good, but I mean, realistically, Hulk Hogan's theme song was fucking iconic. Like that, Hulk Hogan's theme song was a banger. I mean, excluding everything that he's done outside of wrestling, but like
Right.
for a theme song like that back, then when like you really didn't have lyrics like in songs like that back then, you know what I mean? But like that song hit like hard, man. Like that's a really, really good theme song that you could just vibe to.
I
The
just
Four
remember
Horsemen theme is
when
really good though. I do like Four Horsemen theme is pretty good.
I was like, I do remember when Beavis and Butthead made fun of Hulk Hogan's theme song on on Beavis and Butthead's show on MTV. I was like, that made it the best.
Yeah, I do like Hogan's theme song though. I mean, especially going back. I mean, if you grew up around that time frame, during that time, that was like you didn't hear themes like that. I mean, he probably was the only guy that probably had lyrics to his theme back then. I mean, everybody else kind of just like little instrumentals.
Right. Jim Johnson was that hard at work making everybody's like theme song back in the day. So out there, guys who are getting on the indie scene, make sure you find a good theme song that vibes with you that can vibe on the crowd as well. So that's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, man, because like one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on the show, one, because you're a huge wrestling fan and I'm a huge fan of yours, but more importantly, you created this brand and like you've been able to get it out there and like get people to see it. So some of the guys on the indie scene that are trying to like create their own brands and stuff like that, or even some of these, other content creators, like what kind of advice would you give to those guys who are trying to create that brand and bring those people to their eyes to their page?
I mean, if you want to make content, the main thing you have to do is number one is be consistent. That's a big part. I mean, I know some people got families or you got things going on in your life and things get busy, so it's hard to occupy time between work and being a dad or a mom and creating content, because creating content is like really like a full-time job, man. I mean, I try to do Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and all of it, man. And at least once I've been on Twitch like almost like a month, you know what I mean? Just because I'm doing so much for TikTok, and I got the podcast now too that I'm working on. So it's like, it's a lot to unfold. So I'm hoping to go live on Twitch and play some WWE 2K with some people or something like that this week. But consistency is number one, though, man. If you want to grow, you have to be consistent. You got to make time for your content, man. I mean, what I usually do is record my videos through the night, and then during the day, I just post them out through the day while I'm at work or doing something. That way, I already have content made, or always find ways to make time for your content, man. Like, you have to make time. I know some people will say, "Well, I don't have time." You got to make time. It's the only way it's the only way you can grow, man. You got to make time. If you really want to do it, you'll make time. You'll fit time in the schedule if you really want to make content. Interacting with your fan base, I would say it's pretty big, whether it be answering questions on TikTok or Instagram, or DMs, what I'm saying? Just to show people that, you appreciate their support and that, you see them. You know what I mean? Obviously, the bigger you get, you're not going to see everybody's, comments or everybody's DM, stuff like that. But at least, you're still reaching out and, showing love back to the community that, that's supporting you. So that would be big. We talked about it earlier. Taking backlash, like when you start to make content, you get a lot of positive feedback and you get a lot of negative feedback. You got supporters, you have haters. It's just part of it comes with it, man. It's 50-50. It's like a double-edged sword, you know what I mean? Like, you'll have people who support you and back you up, and then you have people who just will find ways to hate on you. Just try to find ways. They'll try to get under your skin. They'll try to make your blood boil. They'll try to find ways to get a reaction out of you. They'll try to break you down, man. Some people literally will make will make pages on social media just so they could break other people down. I don't understand it. It's pathetic, honestly. But like, some people literally will do that. Like, that's their life. That's what they do. Like I said, some people act tough behind that keyboard, but you gotta really learn how to have thick skin, man. I know some things can hurt. Like, some people's comments can really hurt, and it's understandable. We're all human beings. We all go through emotions, but if you're gonna make content, you gotta really learn how to take the backlash, man. You gotta really learn how to. I'm not saying you have to accept it, but you just got to learn how to cope with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this is what it is. So even though that you have a lot of haters, you still got more supporters than you do haters. You know what I mean? Plus, I think people always need haters to continue to grow. Use that as fuel. Use that as motivation to get better or want to make content even more. You know what I mean? Get yourself out there even more. Use that as fire to the fuel. So definitely would say learning how to have thick skin is something. I would say you don't have to have it fully, like, but you have to find ways to not always respond to negative comments, because that just makes you it just makes you look like you're falling right to their trap. You know what I mean? You're just responding to the stuff that they want you to respond to, and you're just wasting your time and energy. It's not worth your time and energy, man. You could be doing other things. Just ignore it. If you ignore it, it goes away. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes if you ignore it, your followers will handle it for you. Like, some of your followers may clap back at them for you, hit their DMs, or they may hit their comment section and defend you. You know what I mean? So sometimes you may not have to do nothing. You can sit back and let your followers take care of it. You know what I mean? So those would be, I think, the main three things. Consistency is definitely up there. Want to make time for your content, learning how to take backlash, and kind of just knowing what social media is really about and everything. And what was the other one? Can't remember what the second one was, but that I said. But those are just you guys can play back and see it. Those are just some of the things that you guys can see. I would say number one, that would be consistency, though, for sure. I know it may take time. I know some people may post and you may only get 2-3 views, or maybe just 100, 200 views. People aren't really interacting with stuff. You're kind of growing slowly. It takes time, man. I've been doing content since 2016. I started on YouTube in 2016. Started on TikTok in 2020, but my stuff just happened to just kind of blow up. Just, like I said, I think I started wrestling TikTok kind of around the right time, because when I started, there wasn't that many creators on the app that was doing wrestling stuff at the time. You know what I mean? And TikTok, now is bigger than it was 2 years ago. So, I mean, it continues to grow and everything. And it's a good way to give opportunities, but TikTok's algorithm is not the right way. I don't think they don't pay you as much. I got 500,000 followers, but I don't make as much money as I would if I on YouTube. Like, if I was on YouTube with 500,000 followers, I'd be getting a good check. You know what I mean? So I'd be able to focus on that full time. But TikTok doesn't really focus on paying people much. It's an easy way to grow on the app. You can get a really good fan base on the app, but it's hard for people to switch over from TikTok to your other platforms. So you're still it's really like you're still trying to grow. Like, I have 500,000 followers on TikTok, but I only have 10,000 followers on YouTube, or 1,000 followers on Twitch. You know what I mean? So it's it's hard to get people from there to get to the other stuff, because Twitch and YouTube is really where the big money's at. If you're looking to if you want to make content full time, you're looking to make a life off of it, Twitch and YouTube is where you really want to get into. That's like where the big money. Instagram too, but Twitch and YouTube is like where you can make the really good money at. But it's harder to grow on Twitch and YouTube though, man. It's harder to grow on there because it's so strict with rules, and it's just a lot of people are trying to do it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's really hard to grow on there, especially when you do wrestling content because not everybody watches pro wrestling. You know what I mean? So it's not like movie content or sports content. You know what I mean? Like not everybody watches pro wrestling. Not everybody appreciates pro wrestling for what it is. Some people still think that it's all fake and it's, nothing's real about it. You know what I mean? You still have those people in the world. So not everybody is going to watch your pro wrestling stuff. So it is, I think, a little harder to grow in the wrestling community. Like I said, I just happened to start it at the right time. I feel like when it was starting to kind of take off a little bit. So I came around at the right time in 2020 during the pandemic. But consistency is number one, though, man. If you want to grow, you definitely got to be consistent. You got to find ways to make time. I know life can be busy sometimes, but if you really want to do it, man, you'll find time. It don't matter if you have 2 minutes of free time in your day. You'll if that 2 minutes is all you got, then that's what you just got to do to make a video or two, and it's just something to put out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me is where like I try to post up daily now. Like I've been really focused on it for like the last I was like last 60, 70 days now, and I've really like started to see like the growth come around. And I think I had one video blow up for 100 and like it was like 140 like 45,000 views. And it wasn't even wrestling related, which was really weird. It was just content me just like responding to somebody talk about Marvel movies, which was even crazier to me that was what the video that took off, especially because like I'm always pushing stuff for like the 3 Count podcast. I'm always pushing stuff for like my wrestling side and stuff like that. So it was really weird to see like a video that had nothing to do with wrestling was the video that decided to erupt for me, which is fine. It's cool. But, consistently, I'm just going to start. And I obviously started talking about it too more with some of my friends and stuff that I was like, I'll start giving out my opinions more now, like on based on wrestling and stuff like that, because, like, let's be full transparency for those who are watching this. This is actually 2 days after AEW's Double or Nothing, and like the hot topic right now is everybody's talking about CM Punk, and I'm just like, listen, I'll talk about what he had to say, but this is my opinion on it, and if you guys don't like it, it is what it is. It's my opinion.
Right.
You guys can disagree with it all you want.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I think it's cool. It's still like you said, like you've been working at it. You're consistently posting, you're consistently working, and you're interacting with the fans, which is definitely a huge plus because that's definitely something I've heard a lot. And then like you said, thick skin is definitely important. What's one of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn so far, being a content creator?
I would probably say it's just really hard to stay consistent and grow. Like it's when you think you have a lot of followers, you think you're gonna get a lot of views, stuff like that. It's not always like that. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of followers, but some videos may only get like 3,000, 4,000 views. You know what I mean? So like when I first started to get big, I thought now that I got a lot of followers, everybody's just gonna see my stuff. You know what I mean? And it's really not how it works, man. I also thought that I probably wouldn't go back to work full time either. I thought like now that I'm kind of big on the app, I'll start making some good money and everything. It's not like that either, man. So I guess it's not what I expected. I guess it would be my answer.
But it is kind of cool to be able to like tell people like I ain't gonna front, man. To be able to tell people like just cloud chasing, you just be like, listen, when you get to that middle number that I have right now, right, then you can come talk to me about some stuff.
Right. I mean, my goal has always been to become a full-time content creator since 2016. It's just like I said, it's just really hard to grow out there, man. It's just really hard to get yourself kind of out there and get your foot through the door. Once you kind of get your foot through the door, it's a little bit easier, but I mean, yeah. But I enjoy making content all around, though, man. I love pro wrestling. I love talking about it. I love interacting with the people. And I'll continue to do it, man. I'll continue to do it. I love talking about it. I love, making the content about it. It's crazy that I kind of have a fan base now too, because you always kind of think about stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. People come up to me or recognize me in person. It's good. It's a cool feeling, man. People who support your stuff and appreciate what you do, and to know that there are so many wrestling fans out there worldwide, that love what you do, whether it be in Europe or just Mexico or Abu Dhabi or Dubai or just anywhere in the United States or it's like so many people all over the world. I have people comment on my stuff from Scotland or England or Ireland or people from like Hawaii or people from Australia, like people just from all around the world, you know what I mean? That see my stuff like, oh, I appreciate what you do, or you got me back into wrestling, or I started making content because of you. Like, it's cool to hear stuff like that, so it kind of makes you feel like you're doing something right, you know what I mean? So I continue to do it for the people who support me. I make content for them, and I do it, for myself too, because I really enjoy it. I enjoy making it.
And that's the one thing about it too, is that like, even for me, like where I work for my shoot job and even doing like pro wrestling as well as, just creating content and stuff like that. Like the one thing that I love is that it never feels like a job if you're having fun doing it. And that's the one thing like I definitely enjoy a lot. Is just opened up and you talk about like creating time. Like, listen, to anybody who's out there paying attention, narcolepsy said it best, right? And the number one thing is like we record a lot of these interviews that I record are at 8 o'clock at night. They just are. And like a lot of these interviews, and then I go through and I edit them and I post them and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely understand about the consistency thing and really being up and really getting going. So we kind of talked about like, even like advice for like content creators and stuff like that, as far as like interacting and staying consistent. Any other last piece of advice that you would give to somebody that legit came up to you and was just like, hey, this is the idea I have for a page. Like, how would you brand it?
Well, number one, just make sure that's what you want to do and enjoy what you're posting. Always have knowledge too of the stuff that you're going to talk about, whether it be sports or movies or funny skits or just anything. Always have ideas and write them down too. I write all my ideas down on my phone and my notes. So if I have an idea, I'll go to my notes in my phone and I write it down and save it there. That way I can go back and look at it or have different ideas to make content with. So always think of ideas and always write them down too and save them. That way you have different ideas. You can come up with different content to create, for the stuff you want to do. So yeah, I guess like I said, my number one would just be consistent, man. I always tell people that like you have to really be consistent. I've seen a lot of people tell me, that like it's hard to make time, or like they don't know when to find the time out of the day, which is completely understandable. But it's like, man, you have to make time for it. Like there's no other way around it. Like it's hard to make it now, but like if you end up making it, this will become a full-time thing for you. So you're gonna look back and like, man, like I'm really glad I was consistent and stay on top of it, because now I'm in a position where I don't gotta go back to work, at my job anymore. I can do this full time and make money off it, make a good living, and focus on doing this full time for the rest of my life and continue to grow my platform, which could lead to a lot of great opportunities for you. You know what I mean? So just be consistent, man. Be consistent. Dream big too. Dream big. Never be afraid to dream big. I mean, you look at somebody like Straw Hat Goofy. He does movie content. You know what I mean? And he gets invited to all type of movie premieres, and he's if you even go to the movie theater and watch movies now, like they have him on the movie screen, like before the previews of the show, like he's on there talking about something about advertising, something like that. You know what I mean? So like him, like 3 years ago, probably dreamed something like that. You know what I mean? But just never kind of thought it would happen. I mean, now he just stuck to the content. He makes time for it. Now look at him now. He's out there. He's made it. I mean, he's verified, and he's getting all types of deals. Probably making some good money too on the side. He's getting invited to movie premieres and to other stuff. To help promote not only his content but promote their content too. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, man. You gotta keep trying, man. Keep trying to put yourself out there. It may take some months, it may take some years, to get yourself out there, but it's a process, man. You gotta really stick to it. You gotta really be consistent. Consistent is my number one thing when it comes to making content. You have to be consistent. If you're not going to be consistent, you can't grow. And if you wonder why you're not growing, if you're not consistent, that's why. You can't grow if you're not going to be consistent. There's no way around it.
Yeah, it was something about it. I love the fact that you brought up Straw Hat Goofy, because he's definitely one of my favorite content creators too. And there was a thing, I forgot, someone made a comment to him about something, and he responded with like this story. And the way he told the story too, this was like one of my favorites. He told the story in the aspect of like, it was like a story that he just kind of threw out, like a plot story, just like, hey, well, there was a guy who one time he just created 5 videos every day while working a full-time job and having kids. And like the way he was telling the story, and then like at the end of the story, he was just like, and then you're watching him now. And I was like, oh man, you just took me on this incredible journey about how you were consistent, which will be our keyword for today, consistent. And you just stay consistent with your 5 videos every single day. And so I think that's really cool. And it's great advice. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you may not have to post every day, but, at least post 3-4 times a day. You know, make a video every day and just put it in your drafts. That way, if you can just have something to post if you got something coming up. So if you know you're gonna be busy at work for the next 3 days, okay, you know what, make a couple videos at night. That way, throughout those 3 days, you got something to post. That way, you don't have to worry about making another video or anything. You got videos to post right there in your draft. All you gotta do is go to one, decide which one you want to post it, put it out there.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, I'll probably catch a lot for this, and I don't really give a shit at the end of the day. So I create a lot of videos for the 3 Count podcast. We probably do like 1 or 2 videos a day, and we're always talking about the show before, right? So the night before. So like today, for instance, is Tuesday. We would Raw, and then whatever episode is coming out for now, entering a ring, right? And then we do one for Wednesday for obviously NXT, and we go on forth all the way till Saturday when we do SmackDown and Rampage, right? And then I'll take those videos and then I'll just save them and I'll just put them on my page as well, just to help promote like the 3 Count podcast page as well as my own TikTok page. So you guys really should be getting out there and just grind like hell to get where you want to get to.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
So those are all my heavy hitting questions, man. But we do got to get into the second best segment of the 3 Count podcast. And you're probably wondering what's the first. It's right there. It's the Red Dogs Power Rankings that you can find every Sunday on our debate show. But this is the 3 Count podcast, 10 count questions. And Mr. Narcolepsy, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast. And whatever's your answer is your answer.
Cool. Let's do it.
So we're going to put on the imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing! And in the words of Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
I've always been a SmackDown person. SmackDown.
Favorite movie?
All time?
Yeah.
Lion King.
Let's go. Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Favorite cartoon?
SpongeBob.
Shawn Michaels or Chris Jericho?
Shawn Michaels.
Favorite actor? Will
Smith.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Favorite podcast?
That's a good one. There's a lot of couple ones. I'll probably say I always like Talk is Jericho. I've always been a big fan of Talk is Jericho. I've been listening to his podcast for years, so I'll say Talk is Jericho.
Okay. Nominate one person that you want to see on this podcast.
My co-host Scott.
Bet. And then last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person who comes on this podcast. Favorite curse word?
Fuck.
It's got to be, right? Like a good F-bomb is what you need in this life. And it is.
I think that's everybody's.
It's got it. Well, you know what? It's funny because I have a lot of people who like said on this podcast, bitch, damn,
bitch is a cool one, but I think fuck is just like, that's just kind of like, I feel like if you had a majority of the vote in the world, that'd probably have a lot of more votes than.
It has to be. Like, I just feel like because that word can be used for just everything, every kind of emotion that you ever want in this world. Fuck is the word that can like pretty much describe that feeling without having to say anything.
Yeah.
But well, those are all my heavy hit. Was that?
I was gonna say, if you got any more questions, go ahead and ask.
No, I mean those are all my questions that I have for you. But more importantly, I just need you to let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys want to find me, Narcolepsy Boy 94, on all social media platforms when it comes to TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all that stuff, YouTube, all Narcolepsy Boy 94. You can also check out my wrestling podcast with my co-host Scott, the RWP podcast, Royals Wrestling Podcast, on TikTok, Instagram, social media, all the same thing, RWP show. Make sure you guys go check it out. We got some episodes dropping here soon, some other things we're going to work on as well. So, yeah, make sure you guys go check it out when you guys can.
Bet. And there you have it. So he gave you all the handles, and he told you about his podcast. Also, you got to go check out his YouTube channel as well. But, like every good part of a wrestling match, we got to take it home. Because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog.
Before we end, I feel like I got to do the rapid fire questions. I feel like people got to kind of maybe get to know you.
Okay.
Know you a little bit. I'll just go on top of my head. I'll think of some things on top of my head. So
Bet.
I try not to use some of the same ones you did, so you get 10 of them, right?
Yeah.
Just one question? Okay. Favorite wrestler of all time?
Rey Mysterio.
Let's see. Favorite Disney movie of all time?
I got to go with The Lion King.
Valid. Favorite band all time?
Whew, that was a good one. Favorite band of all time. It depends on the genre, but if I was gonna pick one all time, even though I know there's a lot of controversy behind them, Aerosmith.
Favorite wrestling video game?
Uh, No Mercy.
No Mercy. I was gonna say. Let me think of a really good one. Let me see. Favorite cereal all time?
Ooh, I've never had someone ask me that, but Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. Oh, okay. Fruity Pebble guy. Let's see. Least favorite soft drink.
Least favorite. Oh,
Something soft drink you will not drink.
dude, anything with coconut in it, just trash it.
Nothing coconut. Nothing
Nothing
coconut.
with coconut. If you came to me and you're like, "Here's this delicious beverage," and I'll be like, "What's in it?" And they're like, "Pina colada." Garbage. Out of here.
Let's see. Taco Bell, McDonald's.
Oh, Taco Bell, like hands down.
Ooh, Taco Bell. Okay. Let's see. Favorite animal?
Tigers.
Tigers. Okay. Okay. That's my second favorite animal. Tigers are valid. Valid. I'll do two more. It's probably more than 10, but I'll just do a couple more. Just firing off random in my head. Let's see. Wrestler you hated the most as a kid?
Oh, Jesus. Ric Flair.
Ric Flair was not a Ric Flair guy as a kid.
No, it wasn't that I hated Ric Flair. Like I understood like the legacy that he had behind, but
Right when
everything
you're a kid,
was
though,
man.
like when you're a kid,
Yeah, he was always the heel. He was always a bad guy until like, once NWO had like this. Remember, so in WCW at one time they had like the whole belts thing, right? Where it's like Team WCW versus Team Wolfpack versus
Right,
Team Black and White versus the Four Horsemen. And that was like the turning point for me about with Ric Flair, where I was like, oh, he's not a bad guy. And then like he became a bad guy again. I was like, I fucking hate this dude. Every time he gets me on his side, he turns, and I just like it was always Ric Flair. Plus, he turned on Sting so many times. He turned on Rey Mysterio. Like I was just like, dude, what a dick.
Let's see. Last one. Favorite video game series?
God of War.
Ooh, God of War. I can't wait till the new one comes out. The Ragnarok.
I know.
Very much looking forward to that. I'd probably say, excuse me, my favorite video game series, maybe Assassin's Creed. For me,
Okay.
I love Assassin's Creed. I wouldn't say that's probably my favorite game I've ever played. Favorite game I honestly ever played for a while, it would probably was SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Yeah.
But after I played The Last of Us, man, that was like all time high for me, especially number 2. That was like, ooh, that was
Full
like,
transparency, I started Last of Us, and that opening scene, right? Like I have a daughter, and at the same time, like she was about the same age as his
yeah.
daughter in that opening scene. I was like, I can't play this game. I put the game down. I was like, I just can't get into it. That just a tear jerking moment right off the start.
You got to get into it, man. It's. I know what you're probably thinking, but it's not going to turn out that way. I promise you.
No. I definitely understand it won't, but I was like, that definitely got me like a little too close to home. I was like, I just can't. I gotta keep it moving.
Yeah, God of War is really good though. I do like God of War. I did enjoy the last one, that I played too. So I do like God of War though. God of War is probably one of my favorites. Assassin's Creed, like I said, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted. I love the Uncharted games too. So
Uncharted is really good. I do like that series. I think for me too, the other part is I like Assassin's Creed, but the problem with Assassin's Creed is that they kept firing them off. Like I was working at GameStop the year that it was like every year they were pumping out a new Assassin's Creed, and I was like, I can't get into it just because like there's so many of them now. I was like, it just burned me out. I think if it was like a single standalone game, right? Like if I was wanting to pick one out, to me, my favorite like standalone without like a sequel to it or anything would definitely have to be like Toe Jam and Earl. I was thinking Genesis. I was such a huge mark for that one, and I think post that, I mean like Battletoads, like that's always gonna be a classic to me. Even like the arcade version, I was always a fan of. So I feel like those games were like always fun, and I just like those 2D scroller smash them kind of games. Like I'm just not one that's like, let me think too much and try to figure out these puzzles and stuff like that. I think God of War was that kind of game too. It was like the puzzler, but you had so much more smash and grab and like beat 'em up style. I was like, I think that's what stuck with me.
Red Dead, I like too. Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead is a lot of fun. I definitely love the aspect because I have the second one. I have the first and second one on my Xbox, and I definitely run around like just shooting people. I think that's so much more fun on a horse than it is in a car. Like I love Grand Theft Auto, but it's not. It just hits differently when you're in the out west.
Yeah, I like that type of stuff. The out west. So hopefully they make a third one. I really did like the second one a lot. Actually, the second one I replayed it probably maybe 3 or 4 times. So I do like the second one a lot though. So I definitely hope they make a third one down the future.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Another game that I need remastered. I've said this a couple times. I even think I said this on TikTok like 3 or 4 times. But I need another Def Jam. Like, I want
Oh,
a
definitely Fight
remastered
for New
version.
York.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just need a remastered Fight for New York.
that
That's
game
what
was
I
so
need,
badass, man. That
dude.
was so
That's
bad.
when people ask me like what my favorite fighting game of all time is. It's that game right there, because even though the playability of that game, you only play the story mode one time, and really that's all you're really trying to do. But once you unlock all those characters, bro, like the fights are phenomenal. Doesn't matter who it is. Like I love
Yeah,
that
I
game.
definitely think they should do something like that. I think they're bringing back the boxing games now too, so those should be fun. The fight nights, man, I used to
Yeah,
love the
Fight
fight
Nights
night
was
game.
always good.
I used to love the fight night, so I'm excited for those to come back too. So a lot of exciting games. But I will say another one more mention. A very very underrated game that I really like. Detroit Become Human.
Yeah,
Really love the storytelling behind that game, and very well put together. I like games like that. You got to choose your own path and different outcomes, everything. Very very good game. Man. I was really invested into that.
that is a good one too. I think the last one I would have to think of, if I want to throw one more game out there that people need to really kind of pay attention to, uh, no, not really pay attention to, but needs to get remastered. I need Twisted Metal to return. Like,
What's the matter? Okay,
I
I think
miss.
they there's a lot of the PS2 games that should really go back and think about remastering.
Yes.
Like imagine if they remade SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. You know what I mean? Or like SmackDown versus Raw, or a lot of those Fight Nights or NBA Ballers or NFL Street. You know what I mean? Like some of those games, man. Like they remaster some of they make a lot of money doing that stuff, especially with the graphics that they have nowadays. Like they can make a lot of money off that stuff, man.
Well, if you look at like someone like Street, like now we're talking about a whole different type of genre. If you look at like Street Fighter 4, right? Like Street Fighter 4 coming back, the way it did, the animation style that was drawn up, like just tore the house down. And then you get into Street Fighter 5, similar kind of deal. You look at Mortal Kombat, like those games, like the they didn't change anything. They were 2D scroller games, but they just revamped them and gave them a whole new life to them. You could do the same thing with NFL Street, and oh my god, like people would go off the walls for them. Like I would love to play another round of NHL hits with an updated system.
I'd love to, man. I would love to play some stuff like that, man. I feel like they probably won't because they're probably more into it than we know. But I mean, I think they haven't considered missing out big time, man. A lot of cool opportunities you can get. Uh, like making content, man. I
Yes.
just really feel like they really should probably consider remaking those type of games.
Oh, I 100% agree. And yeah. But with that being said, we're going to take this home because this is the Three Count Podcast presents Now and Ring. And like I said, I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. And like every good Sherpa, you got to have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. And that's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And you see him right next to me. That guy right there, Knocker Lefty Boy 94, aka Malik Kelly. And you guys know what to do. Tune into the next episode and be there, or you just wait for this episode to end. You wait for that outro, and then you choose another episode to listen to. Peace.
See you guys.
What's going on, Three Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dot Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want you to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3count_pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3count pod. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give us a subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3count podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3count podcast also has merchandise. Oh, at prowrestlingtees.com/the 3count pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So show us some support, please.